Welcome to another presentation of Under the Macroscope. Today, I want us to take a closer look at who really benefited from slavery in America. I'm sure by now that you have heard the asinine assertion that Black Americans benefited from the atrocities of slavery. Who other than the most brain dead among us could even think of, let alone speak out loud, such a stupid notion? Black slaves were kidnapped, chained, and packed like sardines into the bellies of slave ships and taken to a foreign land to provide hard labor that slave owners were too weak, dumb, and trifling to do for themselves. Slaves were used also as entertainment, in quotes, for ignorant slave traders who were dumb and stupid enough to think that a little music and dancing and cheap whiskey would give the slaves a quote fun-filled break from their inhumane treatment. Black slaves were also used as sex pets by both white men and white women. That's what the movie Mandingo was about, but it didn't get over very well with white bigots who didn't want that part of American history to be told. There are still Americans, Black and white, who are old enough to remember the truth about how when the slave owners would go to the slave hut to pick out their quote toy for the night, the slave owners' wives would tell the midwife, who was most often Black, to go get quote Big Jim, who was Black, and bring him in through the back door. I had this conversation with my father, who was born in South Carolina in 1913. He passed away at the age of 93 in 2007. Many of these white women bore Black babies who, if the baby was obviously too dark to present to the slave traders as his own, were smothered to death or given to slave women to raise as their own. And many of the slave women breastfed Black and white babies for a variety of reasons. There are numerous historical recorded facts that have been hidden for centuries. Where do you think the expression wet nurse comes from? Look it up. For anyone to suggest that Black Americans, quote, benefited from slavery is a clear indication that this person does not have one functioning brain cell. The people who really benefited from slavery were the weak and brain dead slave traders who were too stupid to recognize that Black slaves had access to their owners' food and water supply, their children, control over the care of slave traders and their families in times of sickness, but the slaves did not take advantage of those numerous situations to do the slave owners harm, simply because the slaves had integrity that the slave traders and many of their present descendants had and still have no idea exists. Just another Mackian observation. Thanks for listening. Follow me on YouTube at MacRay Under the Macroscope. Please subscribe and share, and if you wish, you can make a contribution of your choosing by using the QR code on the screen. You may also write to me at MacRay, P.O. Box 403, Pineville, North Carolina, 28134. See you next time. And remember, under the macroscope, we take a closer look.